Thank you for waking me up, Paul. It is the day after the 4th of July. Yesterday sounded like war going on, and today war is about to go on because it's episode 166 of the Going Over podcast. I am your neighborhood friendly coach, trainer, promoter, and 44-year-old professional wrestler, Zack Primetime Reeb. And I'm joined alongside, as always, my podcast partner, the 7-foot wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. Happy 5th of July, Paul.
Well, thanks, man. And as I look at the episode 166, the significance is if we were only doing one podcast every week, this would be 3 years of podcasting. But since we do it every or twice a week, it's just 18 months down, right?
Yeah.
We've only been doing it for 18 months straight, twice a week, every week. That's it. No big deal.
18,
no biggie.
No big stir. Today, here we are a year and a half, and we're just starting out giving you an appetizer. Hopefully, you guys are ready for this appetizer. That's what I got yesterday. My appetizer was sulfur smoke, lighting fireworks for your young niece and nephew and all their friends in the neighborhood. They got the sparklers and they walk up to you, Uncle Zack, will you light this? I'm like, sure. And I start lighting it. And then as I'm lighting it and waiting for it to light, I see it slowly moving. Then it starts sparking and my legs are like, God, fuck, kid. Don't point it right at me.
That's right. Burn all the hair off your legs. That's what you need.
Yeah. I mean, what a 4th of July it was, man. You know, that's the crazy thing. How much money is spent on mortars? How much money? Someone said, man, I spent $4,000 on mortars. I said, man, I could think of 4,000. I could think of 4,000 more things to spend $4,000 on than mortars. But I mean, you got it. 250 years of America, man. 250 years of America. That's kind of crazy. And I don't know how long we're here for professional wrestling, but I do know I've been seeing some stuff online, man. I've been seeing some stuff online, so I thought, like, you know what? Let's I'll bring some of it up, and then you can talk about it with something we have. You know, we always throw it in, but one thing I saw the other day was I don't know if it was Brutal Bob Evans, but I think it was Brutal Bob, and he said, you know, is there still backyard wrestlers on professional wrestling shows? Are people still booking backyard wrestlers? Which, if you're out there and you go backyard wrestlers, I don't know any wrestling companies that actually are pulling guys from out of their yard with bouncing on a trampoline and hitting each other with stuff, and untrained, not finished trained pro wrestlers. And I love the comments, I love the responses, but there was just one guy in particular, right? There's a guy that out there that I consider not, you know, there's a lot, obviously, because we talked about the 85 percentile. But there's just specifically one guy who is not trained yet. And he's not a bad guy. He's just not a trained pro wrestler. And I love that he came on here and made the comment. He was like, no, in California, it's not too bad. Everybody seems pretty trained up and ready to go. And I'm like, well, this is the pot calling the kettle fucking black, right? Because it's funny that I use that word black because it's the pot calling the kettle black. And it just thought it was funny. This guy always has a response to everything, and it's like, buddy, you're not a trained wrestler, not even close to being fully trained. So to come on all these comments and posts, it's very comical to me. What are your thoughts in professional wrestling, where we're at today, when guys who are not anywhere near, and I'm talking their lockup, isn't correct, needs a lot of work, which is the first thing that we work on here. What's your thought when someone who you look at and go, this guy can't even lock up, is actually commenting on a professional wrestler's post about, nah, everyone's pretty trained up around here. It's not like that.
Well, I mean, that's the I guess the need to start posting on threads like that is overwhelming sometimes. I think it's like people think like, oh, I'm in the circle, right, of pro wrestling. I go to wrestling shows. I go to pro wrestling training. And to your point, get put on some wrestling shows, right? So you think, oh well, if someone's going to put me on their wrestling show, I must be a trained pro wrestler. But that's exactly what the question was. It's like, how many, not fully trained pro wrestlers are we seeing out there? It's like, there's definitely a difference between, what I've talked about before with people. Maybe you don't know maybe how to take all the different moves, right? Maybe someone's I'm gonna hit you with this, and you just go, hey man, sorry, I've never taken that. I don't know how to take it. I'm not comfortable taking it, whatever it is. But we should at least know the basic stuff, right? We talk about chain wrestling, on our feet, on the ground, basic stuff, headlock takeover, and taking arm drags and hip tosses and things like that. Things that we can build a match around, and people just think like, oh, well, you have to do all these moves. And, and I, several weeks ago, I made the comment to you about like, when you ask someone about their finish, how many guys are going, oh, I'll hit you with the axe blazer or whatever. So some name that they've come up for their finishing move. And it's like, hey guys, listen, when I ask you about your finish, it doesn't always have to be I'm hitting a quote unquote finisher, right? I'm going to hit you with my finisher. You can finish a match with, just like we were kind of going back and forth yesterday. You can hit a roll up, you can hit a guy with a schoolboy. You can hit a lot of different things to end a match that don't involve dropping a guy on their head or throwing them down dangerously, right? So, I think that's kind of what it's come to, is people want to know how to do all what they consider the cool moves, and a lot of the basics are missing. So you have a lot of people out there that are getting booked on shows that are maybe can do some cool stuff, but they're not fundamentally sound. You bring up they can't even lock up, right? Because it's like you just kind of comb over that. Oh, I don't need to know how to lock up. I know how to do a 450, right? I'm going to do the stuff that people are going to go ooh and ah about, not the stuff that actual pro wrestlers are going to be like, oh man, that guy's lockup's pretty nice, man. It looked like a fight right off the bat. You could see that this was going to be a competitive contest right from the lockup, right? You think about those type of matches from our eyes versus the others where you're just, somebody throws a cool move and it's like, oh, so you can do that, but you can't do, you can't lock up, you can't take a headlock, you can't headlock take over somebody, like your fundamentals are severely lacking, but you can do some other moves. But kind of getting back to the whole post thing, it's like, everyone feels the need that they need to jump in there and post a comment, right? Because it's about getting your name out there, or trying to interject yourself in the pro wrestling circle, right? Like, oh, we always talk about this is a big family, and some people are outcasts on that family and they want to be included. So that's their way to, oh, well, I'll post a comment on this thread, and then people will see my name and associate me with these other people who are pro wrestlers. So
I just say create some content, right?
Of course, yeah.
Like create some content. It doesn't have to be a podcast. I mean, it could just be any type of content. Taking your matches, putting it up, asking for advice, showing what you do, showing up, and there's all kinds of content that you can put out. Commenting, if you are a pro wrestler, I've always said, like, actually commenting, and that's the thing about it. Very, very opinionated, right? Like I love the comment sections. There's so many people out there that I think there's people I think are good pro wrestlers. The problem is they are just they comment, and it's always something negative, man. Even if they think it's not negative, you're like, you got to dig into it and you got to go, hey man, hold yourself accountable, go back and really look at this. I think you said something like, ask your wife, ask your girlfriend, say, hey, is this something that I should put out there? You know, I started that's how I stopped. I started looking at it and going, well, what is this going to do if I post this? You know, this was years ago. What is this going to do if I comment on this? Where is this going to go? And the thing about professional wrestling is, when you see it done right, even to this day, it's a beautiful thing. But the basics are not being taught. I don't need to sit here and say I'm complaining or trying to say this guy can't do it. It's like I can see, man. That's the thing we've done as years, and it surprises me about a lot of people in our businesses. I can tell when someone walks in the building what level of professional wrestler they are. And this is before they even go get up on the apron to get in the ring. I can tell by the way they get it. If we get to that point, I can tell by the way they get in the ring. I can tell by what they do after they get in the ring. And if it takes me up until watching them waltz and hit a collar and elbow, the first collar and elbow tie up, and this is before we even wrestle. Like I know what level of pro wrestler I'm getting when I walk in the building, because I've been doing this for a very long time. It's not very hard for me to be able to tell if this guy is a good professional wrestler or not. And that's the problem, is when you look at it on TV now, Botchamania came around for one reason and one reason only, because these guys are moving too fast. They're trying to do too complicated of stuff. And the more and more complication. That's what I did at class the other day, and it was pretty fucking funny. Is I said, all right, you're gonna bump and you're gonna walk off the bump, meaning one guy's gonna bump. And I asked him, I said, all right, the guy bumping, who is this? And I look around, and it's the oddest person who knows the answer, right? It's always Phil. Phil always knows the answer. He's like, well, that's the baby face. And I go, correct. I said, why is he bumping and why are we stopping right here? And he says, because you're cutting him off. And I go, man, the problem is, here's this guy that knows all the answers, who's pretty good fundamental, like the basics and fundamentals, but he couldn't execute this shit if someone was over here with a fucking pistol on his family's head saying, hey, execute this and sell right, or I'm pulling this trigger. The trigger's being pulled, but he knows. He's got the answer to everything because he's just got it. And that's the thing. I'm having these guys bump, and I'm saying, just sell. We call it being stopped, right? They say cut off. Same thing, but you're being stopped. So it means don't bounce around, don't crawl over the place. You stop, roll over. It blows my mind that you're being cut off, right? So there's something. You're not knocked out, because if you were knocked out, the match would be over. And this is how I'm trying to explain it. Something is wrong. Something has happened to you that you cannot get back up. I don't know if you bounced your head off the mat. There's one. My neck. It's two. My shoulder. my elbow, my wrist, my fingers, my gut, my pecs, my back, my lower back, my hip, my thigh, my hamstring, my knee, my calf, my ankle, my something, right? Like if you get cut off, just start selling something. Because it's not just that you got cut off. Oh, he got hit with a clothesline. Now guess what? I think I'm going to go in there and grab him and start working him over. What are you working over? Why is he stopped? No one's even asking themselves that question. It's blowing my mind. How did I stop this guy? And then I look at him and I go, there's got to be a reason, right? He jumped into my arms. I body slammed him, and now he's holding his leg because he landed awkwardly and his knee hurt. Something. I would love to see this. And I've been telling Rick and everyone, I'd love to see it. I hope someone goes out and steals it and tries it. Because if somebody does this, I know they're watching the podcast. I want to see the baby face all over the heel. And I want something simple. I want the baby face to charge him in the corner and the heel move at the last second, real quick. Bang, bang. And the baby face hit his shoulder collar area into the corner with the turnbuckle behind it and pop his shoulder out of place. And I don't want him to be writhing in pain or her sitting on the second turnbuckle and he's finally stopped because he's just sitting there like, oh shit. Like I think I popped it out. And the heel comes around, the heel looks over and oh shit. And the ref goes over there. Sparky would be great at it. You all right? And he goes, no, man, it's popped out. It's popped out. And Sparky gets up and stops the wrestler, and the wrestler goes, what's going on? He's like, I think he popped his shoulder out. And he goes, well, are you stopping the match? What? Is it over? Are we calling it? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, if you ain't calling this match, I'm getting in there. I'm getting on him. And the wrestler's like, no, I'm going to go. And the heel moves the ref out of the way or goes around the ref and starts in on that shoulder collarbone area. And it's a fight. And we see the baby face make a comeback where he's only got one arm. The other one's there, but it doesn't have its full usage. And he makes that comeback, and it looks like that baby face might win, but then the heel traps that shoulder, and the baby has no other choice but to give up. And that's because you're being stopped, right? Like, it's so confusing to me. Everyone sits in these locker rooms and like, cut off. And then they don't know what they're going to do after the cutoff. But like, if you hit me with a big boot and I go down, that's the cutoff at your size, and I'm sitting here, I could sell the effect of my neck going back and my neck hurts, man. And now you can start in on the neck area, man. It's confusing to me. It's like, that's why it's called being stopped, right? There's a reason why we were up fresh and now we can't get up. Something happened to us that we can't recover. Can we just sell that so we can start telling a story here?
Well, we could start selling that so we could tell a story, but it is few and far between when that does happen. Ironically, you just sent me that clip today with I feel like it was Nick Bockwinkel, right? Or was it someone else? But
it was Bockwinkel and Chavo Sr.
Right. So, and then it was reminiscent, so those guys are working an arm drag. It was reminiscent of, there was a match that was on the Mr. Perfect DVD when Kurt Hennig was in AWA, and he was working with Nick Bockwinkel, and they were working a hammerlock. Had to be for 10, 12 minutes working a hammerlock. And it's just like what you're saying. It's the opposite. Obviously, it's the baby face that keeps getting the hold. And the story they're telling is the heel thinks they finally got out of the babyface grasp, right? I finally escaped the hold. And then you turn around and you take an arm drag, or you turn around and something happens and you're right back in the same predicament that you were before. And
frustrating.
It's just, and it's such great storytelling, right? And you think about, it's reminiscent of Thatcher and OJ, right? The match they put on at Gym Wars, where they worked a headlock for 10 or 12 minutes or whatever it was, and it's just like, it's this storytelling, and it's, and I made the comment to you, like, it's, for me, it's like you pick a body part and that's your anchor, right? Anytime I get lost, anytime I'm wondering what I should do, I'm going to grab that body part, right? So I feel like it gives simplicity to the match, because if you get lost, if you don't know what's going on, you can always grab that body part, right? If you're working the head and neck, you can always grab a headlock and take the guy over, right? You always know what to go back to. If you're working the arm, you could always hit them with an arm drag and hang on, like anything like that. It's like, you think about all the different body parts that you just went through, and it's like, if I'm working the neck, can I snap mare the guy and put him in a fucking neck vice or whatever? Can I put him in a chin lock? Like, just what are all the things that you can do with specific body parts? And it's like, why don't you stick to the body part? You're talking about right now, the guy hits his shoulder into the post or whatever, and it's potentially dislocated or separated or whatever, and he wants to continue, because pro wrestlers are so damn tough, right? But you think as the heel, like, all right, so now it's the blood in the water for a shark, right? That's the body part. Now I'm going to be on the attack, and if you can't, before, when you're putting your match together, if you can't say, hey, here's when I stop you, and then I'm going to go to work on that body part, or whatever it is. It's like, you think about so many times, if someone's got a submission hold that they use, like, you think about Ric Flair back in the day, it's like, he's always on the leg, whether he's just trying to pull the hip out of the socket, dislocate, do something with the knee, twist the ankle, whatever it is, he's always on that leg, right? And if something happens where the babyface starts fighting back, that's his thing, right? I'm going to go chop block the leg, or I'm going to kick the leg out, or whatever, so I can get back to the body part and we can continue to sell the story. It's just, it seems too simplistic, but for some reason we see it very seldom when people do that effectively, especially, so I don't know why it doesn't happen, why we're not as trainers, why we're not making that a priority. It's just, when you do a drill like that, I talk about that all the time. It's like, we're not doing a drill for the sake of doing a drill for repetitions. We're doing a drill so we can understand different parts of a wrestling match, and that's perfect. The guy gets stopped, and it's like, okay, what body part is he selling? That's the body part I'm going to be attacking right now. It's like, it seems too simplistic for it not to be happening very often. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that, man.
Well, you said it right there. You said you've been stopped. Sell. It's too hard for somebody, especially nowadays, in modern times. Welcome to modern times of pro wrestling. Just got a little bit more modern. It's too hard for them to sell. Like, everyone wants to writhe in pain. Oh, and it's like, just sell, dude. I've been hurt plenty of times where I'm not even making any noise. I'm just down here going. Someone's not trying to get up when they really get hurt and writhe in pain. It's very seldom that's happening. You're not writhing in pain until somebody is making the pain worse, which is the job of the villain, right? The bad guy. And it just blows my mind that we can't sell. Because if we can't sell, we can't get sympathy. If we can't sell, why in the ever-loving shit as a fan would I try to get behind you unless that we have the same blood relation or we're best friends or I married your daughter or something like that and you came to the show? It's like UFC, you might see something that you haven't seen before. At one time, Pettis ran up the cage and kicked it. Like, you might see something rarely that you haven't seen. Other than that, you're seeing just different skill levels of the same shit and who is going to win this fight. And I hate to say it, but mixed martial arts is way more popular than professional wrestling. It makes way more money than professional wrestling. And they're doing what professional wrestling used to do. And that's so funny to me. Because here we are watching, and now it's like, oh, they're owned by the same people. TKO, Endeavor, whatever the fuck it is. But it's like, here's these guys, and they're just doing this stuff. Up, guard, rubber guard. And they're just doing what professional wrestlers used to do. And they're even adding some personality and character and promo in their stuff now. And then professional wrestling's over here so far away from what professional wrestling used to do. And it's not as popular. It's not making as much money. It's not as believable, but just right around the corner. And we always make the comparison, right? We go, oh, UFC is, it's real. And I know, but people love professional wrestling. It was around way before. So if we can just go back and that's what it is. Like there's no other story not to tell, Paul. I'm the good guy and I'm the heel. I think I got out of this hammerlock. Nope, right back in it. Damn it. And it becomes frustrating for him. So we could say you're getting out wrestled, or we could just say no matter what you do or try to escape from, you're going to get put right back. It took you 30 seconds to a minute to try to get out of this fucking simple fucking hold that the babyface had on you. And the second you get out of it and you finally think you countered, he puts you right back in it. Frustration. And frustration leads to desperation. And a desperate man is going to find a way to get the advantage back his way. Any type of desperation life. And that's where we stop the guy. And there's a reason we stop him. So fucking sell the body part. Just sell it. The back. Sell anything. You really can sell anything. Just sell what hits. It could be a clothesline. Sell that your head whipped off the back and that your throat, you're having a hard time breathing. Like you could really do that. And the people are going to be like, oh, fuck that clothesline. It was right under the throat. He's having a hard time breathing. And you put that guy up in the corner and you just keep chopping him and laboring his breathing. And then you walk away and then you grab the guy and turn him back and hit a couple chops and hit a second chop. And then you dig down like you're going, check your throat. And then you come in for a third one and he pokes you in the eyes or like, and goes and snap mares you, and then he's stepping on your throat. I don't understand. What else can you do? There's probably some dipshits out there that are like, well, we could whip him off the rope, and I could go for a clothesline, and he can hook and spin around my body, and then tuck me for a pile driver. I can sweep his legs out from under him. Okay, listen to the spot. And then I'll get in there and I'll go for I'll go for the slingshot. No, wait. And this is him. No. I'll float over with the jackknife cover, a steamboat flare, right? Steamboat flare. And then you push up and then we'll rotate around and we'll do these back slides. And then you get up from this flare steamboat exchange, Chi-Town, baby, Chi-Town Rumble, and go running off the ropes. And then I will smoke you with the clothesline, and I want you to spin 450, 360 crucifix out of it. And then I'll pick you up. And just like that finish we saw the other day that I can't get out of my fucking head, I'm going to powerbomb you. And that looked just vicious, right? Like the guy landed flat with his legs out straight. There was no bump on the mat at all. And then the guy grabbed him and wheelbarrowed him over and picked him up and hit him with like a nice, safe double bump fisherman 1A, like a little, And I'm like, man, I would have never took the power bomb. If that's what you were going to beat me with, let's eliminate the move that actually is probably going to hurt me, right?
Well, just all the things that we've been seeing lately, and what was the I mean, and I have no idea what the situation was, but the guy that got like shoved to the ropes and then they went for the 3D instead of the guy just elevating him and falling back immediately, he elevates him and holds him, and then the other guy jumps and grabs him, and then it's almost like he gave him a backdrop so the guy could drive him into the ground.
Pencil dive. Watch my pencil dive into the. Just because the canvas is blue doesn't mean it's fucking water. You know what I mean?
Just that, and just I don't know. Just the like I said, I've said before, like there is I think there's a way to do the death match type of thing that tells a story. But I saw something recently that was just like they're just taking light tubes out of a thing and they're hitting each other, just trading shots. It's like that doesn't seem realistic to me at all. Is it, are we proving our toughness here? Like who can take the most of these? And it's like you're going to do these dangerous moves, but instead of taking just a regular suplex off of whatever you're doing, you're nervous, so you have to step down and land on your feet before you suplex the guy through light tubes or whatever. It's like, what are we doing, man? We're doing dangerous stuff. Like you don't want to take the suplex bump, but you're cool throwing the guy through light tubes and off the stage and into barbed wire and all this other stuff. But we can't do the simple
net of barbed wire.
Oh yeah, like
that's the most dangerous one.
When they're like they instead of the trampoline, they've just got barbed wire in the trampoline frame. It's like
I think of like trapeze people.
Oh yeah,
like you used to see at Circus, and they let go of them or they miss, and there's that soft net. But imagine that being barbed wire with rigged up explosives when the pressure hits on it.
Oh man, it's just you see so much of that stuff that it's like I don't know. The storyteller, you're going to be like, why would I just get stopped and start selling when we can do when you can hit me with a couple moves and then I'll turn it around and I'll hit you with a couple moves, right? Then the fans never know if someone's in danger of losing because they're just waiting for the other person's turn to do their moves, right?
Well, there's nothing left to do. Like this is real, man. It's like when you get into a business and you fall in love with the business, and then you have to hear people say, well, this is where the business is evolving. You're like, it's not like skateboarding, man. They're just getting more technical with their tricks. The risk of popping your testicles out on a handrail is always going to be there. It's just I'm trying to pull off a bigger trick. Well, this is pro wrestling. We're not trying to pull off a bigger trick because we can't. You know what I mean? It's like there's no bigger trick, man. It almost seems to me it's almost like there's one side of a bridge, like there's something to jump off over here into the water. And you're like, ooh, look at it, it's 20 feet high, and you're like, oh, that water's down there. I know there, I can see the bottom. It's clear as crystal. There's no rocks. But then you go to the other side over here, and it's fucking there's no water. It's just jagged rocks. And you walk over to the side with the water and you look down, you're like, it's pretty high. I'm scared of heights. I don't think I want to jump off that. And then they just turn right around and run and dive over the other side of the bridge without thinking and land down there. It's like if you know how to bump, or maybe you don't, but you take the bump right and you're okay. But people are willingly throwing themselves at bad bumps and landing butt first or whatever, and their heads snap. And it's like, you know how to do this right, but you choose to take it wrong, whether you're afraid or whatever. It's like that's what being a professional is, or on your way to being a professional. I know if I'm taking 3 bumps in the match, I'm going to take 3 of my best bumps. And but they're willingly doing it wrong and hurting themselves. And especially when you're training someone, you're like, hey man, get those feet up, palms down, tuck that chin, let that air out, make some noise. And they don't. And you see them like get hit with the tackle at practice or something, and they scoot backwards and land on their butt and whack their head off the mat, and they get up and they're like, whoa. My favorite's when you see their eyes from taking a bad bump. They're like, and you're like, all you had to do is go straight down. And you took this bad bump on purpose, knowing that the other bump that you for some reason didn't want to take is why we trained you to do it. You would have been fine. And it's not like that guy hit you too hard or anything, because it's practice. You literally hurt yourself. You chose to do it wrong to hurt yourself. And now you got to drive home. You know what I mean? It's like I was watching when Sin powerbombed Rick in the highlights. God, man. I don't know if you've seen those highlights from our 3-way. And Doc, the funniest thing is because Doc afterward goes, Rick just ate that power bomb. And I'm like, he fucking did. Watch how hard Rick's head snaps off the mat. I keep watching it going, oh, God. Thank God he's legally blind, because I don't think he has the, you know what I mean?
It doesn't mess up the equilibrium.
That's it. He doesn't have that. A lot of stuff is visual, right?
Right.
So Rick doesn't have an equilibrium. So does a concussion really exist to a guy like that? Does Stevie Wonder, does Ray Charles, do they feel concussions the same way? Do they feel getting drunk the same way as the next guy? Because they don't it's like if you were to get pulled over for drunk driving, they always ask you to walk forward, right? Fuck, motherfucker, ask me to walk backwards, because I don't got eyes in the back of my head. They're asking you to walk forward because visual, your equilibrium, what you're seeing is throwing your. If you walk backwards, I think you'd be fine. So it's like a guy like me whacking my head off the mat like that, I'm gonna start like seeing shit, and I'm gonna start tripping out on visually is what that, because that's where it gets me mentally. Rick, I think he's just fine. I think you could beat on him like a big old dog, you know what I mean? Beat on him like a big old stupid dog, and he's just like, it's cool because I can't see. I can't visually see to feel the effects of the concussion. I don't know if the headache comes in or whatever at that, but I just saw him whack his head off the mat, and I was like, bad bump from an old man. You know what I mean? Boyce does it a lot too. Boyce has been bumping now, where Boyce gave up on putting his arms out like this. It's more like this. His palms are flat, or he's just up here and he just eats the whole fucking bump. Arms in like this. And that's what happens. Flair started bumping like shit after that plane crash, man. And sometimes he'd go up really high for that backdrop and he'd just stick into those WCW mats. There'd be no bump. Just those are my favorite. Like watching Bret Hart wrestle in WWF to watching Bret Hart wrestle in WCW. It was just like, ooh. He'd come off for that elbow, and in WWF he'd hit and get a little kick off it, and WCW was like, there goes my knees.
That's it, man. Yeah, it's just, I guess, the getting back to the, commenting on things, I was telling you, like, reminding people, like, hey, you might be frustrated, and this happens with us all the time. I think you're frustrated, you might type something out, then you just delete it, right? You get the frustration out by typing it out, and no, this is what I would say, and I've made the analogy, like you see the videos where it's like somebody's asking you a question, and you type the response that you really want to send, and then you erase it, and then you put something that's a little more acceptable as the response. It's like the question that I ask is, was it necessary for you to respond to this post or this comment or whatever? Did you, if you go back and read it, was it necessary for you to type that comment or that response and press the send button, right? Did you have to do that? Was it necessary, or was it just something that you were doing because you wanted to be mean, you wanted to get noticed, you wanted people to think, oh, this guy's in our circle, so he's answering questions on our behalf, or something along those lines. The Bob Evans thing, obviously, it's like, he's asking a real question, and I think that was something that frustrated me a few weeks ago. Ugly was asking a realistic question, like, what's the, in your last 10 matches, what advice have you gotten? Which is, I feel like, is just a perfect opportunity for people to share, something that they learned over the last 10 matches. It's like, you think of all the different critiques you've gotten and what things you can share, but instead it's people going something completely, over the top. Don't do a 450, quit the business, whatever it is. It's like, we're not taking this seriously. We're taking an opportunity where we can help each other. We can share some good advice, bad advice, whatever. We're having an opportunity to learn here, and people are just making a mockery of it, and putting joke responses, or trying to pop the boys or whatever. It's like, I don't know, man. It's frustrating when you see that, when it's like, okay, hey guys, opportunity here to share the importance of doing something, or a mistake I've been making and someone corrected me on it, and here's what I learned from it. But instead, we're just making fun of it. We're just trying to get a laugh instead of getting better.
Well, that's what the world's about, man. You got to smile. You got to have fun. Too much time on people's hands, even if you're working. My last job, once I got moved in the office, unless I had to get in the truck and physically go somewhere, and even then, I'm driving a long distance. I'm not working. I'm just driving to go check something out. Other than that, I'm sitting in front of a computer doing this number right here, man. And we got these devices. I mean, how many times are you sitting there during the day and you'll put something on the TV or something, relaxing, and it'll start, and then your phone won't even go off. So there's no reason to even, it's over here, within arm reach always. But you just go, you're watching the movie and you're just like, oh. Checking everything you just checked 20 fucking seconds ago, because something might have popped up. And that's what it is. It's our brains thinking, man. It's something I had to really work on myself, is because it's like, I'm always, man, what's next? Story, story, story. How do we get here? Sometimes I over stimulate myself with the story so far down the road. And that's what I've done this time is with everything going on, I'm not tripping on the rest of the stuff. It's like today's Sunday. I got what I'm, we're gonna work on something simple today. It's gonna be hot. We're gonna put on our 1 hour Sunday night slam. I'm gonna ref everything. I'm gonna have some good stuff for us to talk about on Wednesday when we record the next podcast. Probably talk about tonight because we'll probably have a conversation like always. And then this Saturday, I finally get 4 times a year. We do the 4 big ones a year at the convention center. So I finally get to load that fucking ring up on that trailer and head back up to old Oroville, California for Pandemonium. And you can tell by this card to me is going to be the best. I think it's going to be the best card we put on in 27 years. And that's not any hype. I don't think enough people are listening for me to think that this is going to be a big time promotional boost for the event. But this is one I'm really proud of. And it's because of everything we've learned in the last 2 years and where I've tried to go with it. I feel like what's going to happen with my company after this one, knowing where I'm going with everything and having the right people on the team now, I feel like this one is everything I've worked for, everything that we as a company have worked for, and where we're going to go from here is going to separate us from everybody else. And that's not me saying like, oh, I think I'm better than you or this or that. It's like I've been helping you. I help Ugly when I can. And I've just been keeping my head, I went over there to help John break. We didn't do it yet, but break down the ring on a hot Friday morning so we could paint the floor. So I've been keeping my head down and focused and busy and all this stuff, but I've been focused on what I'm doing. And now I get to see the results of all the help I've been giving everybody, but I've also been putting it into my own company slowly but surely for a moment like this. And that's the problem. That's why everyone's on here doing all this, and they need to feel, and it's no knock, man, because people get offended, but you need to feel needed, wanted, seen. That's why you do it. You don't make a personal post about you hate your job, you're going to commit suicide. You know what I mean? Like, I see too many of that, man, from professional wrestlers where they're like, man, I lost my job, or I have a job. Like, how ungrateful are you that you have a job and you're talking shit about your job? But then if somebody makes a comment, you're like, what, should I off myself? It's like, no, you shouldn't. You should go to work. And if you don't like your job, quit and have a means of something else you want to try, or keep working at that job until you can at least take a chance to try to leave that job and try something else. It's like, I don't think people realize do we have a starting goal? And what in our mind is our destination? And then there's no set time limit for this, man. None, Paul. There's no set time limit. So that journey in the middle, shut the fuck up and just go through it till you get where you want. Because if you don't, first off, saying you're going to quit your job, you just quit. You didn't fail. You didn't give yourself a chance to fail. You just fucking quit. And if you're talking about killing yourself, then that's worse than failure or quitting, because you just gave up on. You didn't just give up on life like I'm going to eat a bunch of food. You're like, nah, I'm not.
Well, it's like in that situation, I was talking to someone about that last night. It's like how quickly you go from one thing to the next, and it's like someone is, just like I was talking about, someone is trying to give you some advice about, like, if you have a ton of different jobs on a resume, employers are going to look at that and go, hey, this person isn't going to work for us for very long, or they have a problem keeping jobs or whatever. Maybe we don't hire them, because I don't think people understand how much is put into uh, getting someone prepared for a job, with the, orientation, training, whatever, all the money that someone puts into training you to do a job correctly. And if you're not going to stay at that job for any significant amount of time, that's money they're going to have to invest in someone else after you quit. So it's like, from an employer's aspect, it is very much do I waste my money training this person who switches jobs often, or do I try to find someone who's a little bit more steady as far as the work comes? Or maybe it's someone's first job and you're like, all right, I'm going to give this person an opportunity to prove themselves, and it's like you're offering some advice of, hey, if you quit your job, it's going to look bad on your resume, and you jump immediately to, I'm going to off myself. It's like, I was just trying to offer you some advice of, hey, stick with it. Essentially, in theory, it can't be that bad what you're doing, right? You're doing I don't know, and I feel like I've come across that several times in my life. It's like, who would want to do this job? But it's like, well, obviously this job is important for this business because they've hired someone to do this job specifically. So I don't know, man, just getting over that. And it's like, someone is paying you to do something, why don't you stick it out and give them, my dad used to always tell me, like, hey, just give someone a hard day's work if you're expecting a hard day's pay. It's like, give them what they're paying you for, right? Give them the effort that they're paying you for. And it's old school, it's simplistic. It's just like we're talking about with selling and telling a story in a wrestling match. It is old school, it's simplistic. It shouldn't be difficult to do, but I feel like it is very much the age we live in is, everybody, Ugly talked about the participation trophy thing. Everyone's used to getting a participation trophy, a pat on the back or whatever. Oh, well, we're gonna play baseball, but we're not gonna keep score. And I just love that he's like, hey, if the other team scores 20 runs and you don't score any, you got the shit kicked out of you. You don't need a scoreboard to tell you that. It's
No.
just, I thought that was so funny. It's like, kids know. They know if they're getting the shit kicked out of them or not.
Well, I don't really believe in the participation trophy. And the reason I don't is because the people that get to where they're trying to get to have to work hard. You don't sign you don't go through the farm system and the minor league baseball system and get to fucking the pros and step on the field to play in the pros if you didn't work your ass off. It doesn't happen. You don't step on the grassy courts of Wimbledon to swing a tennis racket if you didn't work hard to get there, man. Even comedy, there's so many comedians. You could say, I know somebody or I'm related to somebody, but I mean, look at David Flair. Look at so many in the past. If you don't got it, you're exposed. If something is given to you and you find your way onto a professional stage that the entire world has worked their ass off to get there, you're going to be exposed very fast. And not even by the boys in the back. They're going to be the worst ones. But the fans, the audience, the people watching on TV, they're going to be like, dude, this guy sucks. People don't make it not because they didn't want it. People don't make it because it's so hard. You have to put out production. Even in a sport or a business like pro wrestling, you have to execute and produce. You have to generate. I tell everyone 5 minutes remaining in this podcast. I tell everyone, I say the same thing. I said, I'm in the business of three things. It ain't sponsorships are great. Merchandise, I mean, unless I don't deal with merchandise. And you got to buy fucking, I get small to extra large in these fucking t-shirts. That's just shirts. We're not even talking about hats and everything else. It's like, I'm cool off the merchandise, man. I don't, that's not the business I'm in right now. Maybe down the road, it just gets bigger. I can, just like I have someone in charge of the concession, I can put someone in charge of merchandising, and I can have some startup money, and we can get, I don't know, but I don't ever want to deal with that shit. I'm in the business of three things: ticket sales, concession food to sell to people that I promote to get there, and students. I'm in that business right there. If I'm going to be successful, which I have proven right now in the last 780 days, that's what I'm after right now. Do I think merchandising can make money? I think so too, but I think on a very big level. I think once you get into the toys and the investors and stuff like that, sponsors, I think, yeah, sponsors can pay for a show. But I know a lot of people that get sponsors to pay for the show don't get as many ticket sales as I do. Because you've said it on here before. If I already know I'm in the green off a sponsorship, the fuck's the point? We went down to the tattoo convention show you had. I said, hey, did you guys put up flyers around town? And you said, well, I didn't get any made for them to put up. They're like, it's a sold show. And it's like, I've been a part of these sold shows. You want the sold, you get the money. It's a sold show, but you also want to get out there and promote. Winnemucca, that terrible word, right? No, I'm just, but I had flyers and stuff on me. Me and Jalen, we went out, talk to the people. We're promoting them over to this business. We're promoting them over to where we're wrestling. They're going to go to the closest place. Obviously, they're not going to drive from fucking Winnemucca to Yuba City twice a week. No, not everybody's Larry. And, but that's it. It's like, that's, you got to understand what business you're in and what you're going after to get going in that business. I already failed at 17, Paul. I already had the banks after me because I didn't understand my checking account. I've never had checks since. I take them, but I never had them because I wrote a hot check. I was like, oh, I got to put this show on. I got a checkbook right here. Pro Championship Wrestling LL up there. There's the check for $3,000. And my parents had to like, oh my, what are you doing? I'm like, what? They're like, you wrote a hot check. I said, what do you mean? They're like, you didn't have that money in your bank account. I was like, oh shit. They had to bail me out. I was 17 failing at business. You know what I mean? I've been failing at this shit since I was a fucking kid. So, gotta fail, man. Gotta fail.
That's it, man. That's the only way that you're going to succeed is if you have some failures to learn from. That's obviously you hear that all the time. To be successful, you just have to get up one more time than you get knocked down, right? You have to be successful one more time than you fail. So that's, as we were talking about simplicity, that is the simplicity. That's the bottom line, right? Just get up one more time than you get knocked down, and then you will be successful. If you're if you're willing to continue to get back up, you're going to eventually become successful at something, so
just win once.
That's it, man. That's all we got to do.
Win once. That's what baffles me about people as we close out here is like, oh man, I'm embarrassed of the amount of people that are out here or the way this show went down. Well, fucking change it. For Zach Primetime Reeb. You got anything else, Paul?
No, I was just gonna say, just do better on the next one, right? That's all you got to do.
Well, you know what you need to fix because it's right in front of you. It's like, hey, every time I stand here and I pull the ball back like this and then try to release it like this guy swats me. And it's like, how about I quicker? Or how about, and then move over and try it. How about I not stand in, you know what I mean? It's like you were saying the other day, sorry to even take it a little further, but I thought it was funny. You were saying the other day, you're like, they keep throwing it over our heads. That's what they're doing the whole game. We have to adjust so we maybe move back a little bit and or get closer to them so they can't. And you sit here and you keep watching it over and over. And that's how class was. I was like, all right, bump, now sell. And like Nickelberry was going, and it was like he was like humping the mat while he was. I'm like, why are you moving? Just sit here and sell. I'm asking you to turn over on your stomach and grab your side and look at the crowd and go, and just sell. Like, you're so good at, you know it's funny when someone doesn't have their dues or they do something wrong, they're so good at selling. Or like when someone wants to get out of something, you know what I mean? They're like, man, it's hot today. And they're over here like, oh, God, coach. And you're like, I know you're not hurt, but goddamn, that looks good. You know what I mean? And then you ask them to do that in the ring. You're like, oh, your shoulder hurts? And you grab their arm and fucking twist their arm. And they're like, and they can grab their own hand. And you're like, you were doing so much better when you were trying to get out of the ring selling than you are when you're actually trying to do this for a fucking living. You know what I mean?
That's it, man.
I know you're a good actor, dude. I just watched you sit down over here and act like your knee was fucking blown out. So for Zach, Primetime Reeb and the Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora, for you out there, keep making your comments. I don't really read the newspaper no more, so you're giving me good shit fodder in the morning. For everybody else, if you think we're talking about you, we probably are. Hit that fucking subscribe button. Let's get those subscribers up. And hey, man, going over.